Good afternoon, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. We are at 4052 North Williams Avenue here in Portland. Located in the basement, we are up against the rear foundation wall. I describe everything as if you're standing in the street facing the front of the house. Dropping into a 4-inch cast iron clean out here at the base of the vent stack. Water's running, we are zeroed out. Off we go. Right out of the gate, this first little bit of the cast iron there is looking pretty nice. No rust scale, nice and clean. Got a little tiny bit of standing water there we just went through. It's very minor. All that junk right there is just a bunch of cobwebs. Those aren't roots or anything like that. And my camera right now is upside down in case you wonder why it looks that way. My auto leveling cameras are in the shop right now. Doesn't bug my eyeballs. I've been doing this a long time, but sorry if it's a little weird to look at. All right, now we're into 6-inch clay pipe. This is the stuff we're going to give a good look over as we come back in. Ooh, we got a line right here. So I did notice, and this is one of those houses that when I first got up to it, I immediately, the way that these homes are set up right here and how close they are together is very indicative of the type of homes back in the day they did party lines with. And you do indeed have a Y connection that's coming in here. I also noticed that the neighbor to the left of this home, this is if you're facing this house from North Williams, there is a newer plastic clean out at the front right corner of the neighbor's house, which looks like, just eyeballing this here, is about in the proximity where you'd expect their line to come out and tie in. So it's entirely possible. Ooh, that's not good though. Your water is escaping the line like crazy. Look at that. Every drop of water that's going down this line right now is escaping that pipe joint. That is a bummer. So, and that's what I was getting at earlier, and I said we were going to give this a good look over. Clay pipe, if it remains in grade, the material itself can last for just about forever. The weak point in clay are the pipe joints. The grout wears out, that seals the joints up. You are losing right now 100% of your water through that joint. Ooh, yuck. Sorry for that nasty visual. You've also got root penetration right here. So what I am liking about this thing though is that the slope and the grade by and large is looking good. Man, you've got some serious creepy crawlers in here. Yuck. So if you have slope and grade, the importance of that is that can allow you to do an epoxy liner, which is a trenchless repair system, and avoid digging. The one thing you got to make sure of is that the neighbor is clued in on that. If they're disconnected, you should be able to line right over the top of that Y connection without any issues whatsoever. But you do have to do that in conjunction with the neighbor because that's assuming this line remains on this property the entire time. If it doesn't, if it veers off the property or something like that, that on its own is a non-conforming issue and will cause you to have to reroute the sewer pipe. So anyway, we've hit the main here at 65 feet. We're going to do some locating. All right, just went and did some locating there. I got some water coming through now finally. And this is what can happen in a lot of these cases. Sometimes the water will escape the joints and they'll enter into a different pipe joint down line somewhere. They'll run through the ditch around the pipe, and or it's possible that Y connection's active. And you get enough water volume down this thing, a good toilet flush or something like that, high volume water will probably to some extent overwhelm the joint. I'm glad that water got past this point so we can actually see the slope and grade. But anyway, I just located there. There is a car park. There's cars parked everywhere out here. It's a tricky spot to locate, but I'm picking that locate up, maybe 3-4 feet past the street curb, something like that. But because of the slope this line has, this looks like it would be a good candidate for the liner. As long as this thing remains on property the whole time, that's what we're hoping for here. And I picked the most perfect spot to stop here. I am parked right at the face of the curb right now. I'm getting about 5 foot 3 inches deep here. So it's from this point forward out to the main is city responsibility, and from this point back, homeowners. I'm getting about 5 foot 3 inches deep there. Sometimes you get, that's where the water's re-entering the sewer line. You can see it pouring through the pipe joint right there. Anyway, that's very concerning. I mean, in some cases, if you have enough gravel that the line's bedded in, sometimes that water can route through there without doing hardly anything over time. In other cases, you're creating sinkholes everywhere because of the amount of water that's escaping the line. So, I mean, it's a very important thing to deal with. And you can indeed get sinkholes. I've seen them a myriad of times over my career. But when you get water doing that, sometimes the water is just running through the gravel around the pipe, and it's not doing a darn thing to the surrounding ground around it. So this thing runs basically in a dead straight shot the entire way, it looks like. I'm going to do just a few markings. In my opinion, this is one that you really should look into doing a liner on. You can do it however you want to. Dig it up, burst it, whatever. But the liner is a way to save some real money and take advantage of what you've already got here, good slope and grade. And that tie in there looks like a full 6-inch Y connection. The importance of that, generally speaking anyway, I've cambered thousands of party lines. Party lines in this part of town, this era, the Y connection is almost always going to be, if not always, a full diameter 6-inch Y connection. That one looks big enough to be that. When you have a smaller, like 3 or 4-inch tie-in, that generally indicates storm pipe tying in, which is a very common thing. All right, so and I'm picking this up. I tried to put a really small marking down where this Y is at. It's a cracked paver. It's not in the best shape in the world, but as you face the house from the street, that Y connection there looks like it is coming. My camera, keep in mind, is kind of upside down right now. If you were to rotate that right side up, that Y connection is coming in, well, as we're going on the right side. In reality, it looks like it would be from the neighbor to the left of this home as you face the house from the street, if they're even still connected. That pipe wall is clean enough there coming down from that spot. I don't know that it's active, and again, I can't guarantee it's a party line connection. That's something worth looking into. Being there's a clean out right off that neighbor's porch there, I think there's at least decent signs that may very well be something that's been dealt with at this point. So, and then once you get further back into here, I can't do markings anymore. We're starting to go underneath the porch. So another reason to look into the liner option. You're not going to have to deal with anything dealing with the landscape. But as far as depths goes, I'm getting about 5'3", 5'4" inches deep at the curb. I am also getting that almost the exact same depth up at the top of the yard, right next to the stairs. The line looks like it shoots right past just barely to the right of the staircase. That's as you face the house from the street. So I would just try and get some records pulled there on the party line connection, see if the neighbor has indeed separated from this thing. Just from the appearance out there, it looks like that's the case, but sometimes it's a storm system clean out. It may not be sewer at all. But where it's positioned is in about the spot I would expect a line to come over from the neighbors to actually tie in there. Anyway, everything from here at the cast iron transition is about 31 feet out to the street edge. I'll have to go back and review the video. I want to say it was around 53 feet or so. Highly recommend a full update to all the clay pipe. You have a myriad of bad pipe joints. You also have a root intrusion. The amazing part here is that there is no grade loss. That's the small miracle that's taken place. A lot of times when you get pipe joints like that are opened up to the ground to that extent, I mean, this is losing every drop. I had 2 sinks running full bore. That tells you how much water volume is escaping that thing. Oftentimes, what you end up with is severe hydro erosion that erodes all the support out underneath the sewer line and causes the line to settle. So this is a pretty cool setup here that you should be able to take advantage of this. This thing runs dead straight, comes out almost underneath the doorway and straight on out of the street. So it doesn't veer off into the neighbor's property, thank goodness. After any repairs are done, I highly recommend rescoping the sewer line to check the work. Whether you do a liner, you do a dig style repair, doesn't matter. You gotta rescope to check. If for some reason you end up doing a trench style repair, or semi-trenchless, there's some options out there that you don't have to dig the entire line up. You want to do your rescoping after the line is buried, not beforehand. You're not going to catch any settling problems that may occur. That's when just about every belly or offset joint happens, is due to uncompacted soil. So if you scope it while the trench is open, a lot of repair guys do that to try to get an idea as to how their stuff looks, but everything's in theory at that point. The cast iron pipe here has good flow. It's in good shape for its age. There's no rust scale. You had a little bit of roughness partway down line through the cast iron, but nothing concerning. Very clean piece of pipe there that flows nicely. And the clay pipe, weren't for all the bad joints and everything, also has good slope and grade and, you know, theoretically good flow as long as the joints weren't bad. No issues with the cast iron. If you wanted to go the full mill deal and update all the cast iron at the same time, great, but that stuff is not in need of repair at this point in time. That would just merely be a convenience to do so.